Okay, well, thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, first of all, on behalf of Chairman Royce and our Foreign Affairs Committee. Allow me to welcome you here today for this timely and important briefing and discussion. I look forward to hearing from all of you. I know that you have traveled from faraway places to be here today to have the opportunity to meet with me, with Chairman Royce, other members of our committee, and they'll be coming in and out to bring to our attention an issue I know that does not get all of the attention that it deserves. So Joe and Shirley, thank you for many years of friendship and cooperation on these important issues. Thank you very much to all of you for being here with us today. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Shirley.
Ileana is one of the leaders in the foreign policy community in the United States and cares deeply about human rights issues, and that's really what we're about here. Because with the exception of the Clinton administration, and they had to be pushed, when they dropped NATO's bombs on Serbia, all of our administrations in our lifetime have been taking a backseat to Europe, being involved in a policy of appeasement and containment, which does not work. And we always know when we take a back seat to Europe, ultimately because they can't, by virtue of their 28-member nation status, all having divergent views, it doesn't work. Even now we have 5 of those nations who don't recognize the independence of Kosovo. So it's always been the House Committee on Foreign Affairs. It's been Congressman Yeoman, Lantos, Biden, Hyde, you, Dana Rohrabacher, quite explicitly, who made it possible, working with us in part, our information, and having more than one hearing over time, that led to peace in the region up to a certain point and the independence of Kosovo. Unfortunately, we are now back to where we kind of all began. We know that the bombs were dropped and it stopped the war finally, Slobodan Milosevic's genocidal march across Europe for a decade. Then, what happens in 2001? Macedonia erupts, and there's a great, fanfare about who was really responsible. It took us a year to convince state and the National Security Council that it wasn't Albanians who actually initiated this. It was actually coming from the ethnic Macedonian Slav ruling party. And we tried to even speak with them to say, don't move this into a military conflict. This can be resolved diplomatically, but unfortunately, no one anywhere was paying attention. But we need a reset button there because there's been too much of an orientation of, let's just have stability. Stability at all costs.
That's terrible.
And it is. And we know now in the 21st century this can no longer work.
No.
Human rights now has to come to the forefront.
Push a policy.
And what we especially want to do is ask for the United States to now pay attention because we're in danger, and I'll tell you why we're in danger. Macedonia is in line to enter NATO and enter the EU, and I'm very curious about how this can happen given the terrible conditions in which non-ethnic Macedonians are being treated, but also even many ethnic Macedonians, because we have all through the region now a power elite holding on to most of the benefits.
And a corrupt
power elite. And why, oh why, oh why, has the United States and the EU, have Washington and Brussels thought they could look the other way as if nothing, was about to emerge. And by the way, another interesting point you had to make when you said that economically they're sound. Truth of the matter is, that was what the economists and what everyone was saying. But guess what happened? They borrowed $1 billion from the EU, and they have spent it on recreating the capital of Skopje. It's called Skopje 2014.
With all the needs.
With all the needs, right? And it's pictures from mythological, history, trying to create this picture, and it's all linked to ethnic Macedonians when they are not the only leading, ethnic group in the country. So I think it's crucially important.
That is good and valuable.
Yeah, that we make sure they don't
Yes.
enter until there are changes. And then finally, the other issue of importance that literally is heartbreaking. We all know, anyone here who's in the Albanian American Civic League or who's studied the Albanian history, and you know this definitely, I know. Albanians have been secular Muslims, Orthodox Christians, Roman Catholics, and some Jews living in harmony for centuries. They were, like Sarajevo, the ideal. It's Ramadan, you have Christians going to the celebration. You have, Christmas Eve and all the Muslims are there. Now, what has happened in Macedonia, therefore, and it's starting to move into Kosovo, is heartbreaking. With all the money that has been taken from the people, the Wahhabi form of Islam has been encroaching in largely through Saudi Arabia.
So dangerous.
For the first time, mosques are being built that there were none.
Yes.
For the first time, women, especially those whose husbands died in the war and are incredibly poor, are being approached, here, take this money, but you have to wear the veil. You have to go to the mosque. This never existed before. Now, Albanians, in addition to having religious harmony over centuries, also are the most pro-American ethnic group in
Yes.
the region, if not in all of Europe. We should not allow them to be forced into a situation where more and more people now look to the east, get involved in a form of Islam that never existed in Albanian lands, and now start to march into and potentially connect with some of the worst extreme forces that are emerging.